Thought I'd take a break. Just out on a walk today. A beautiful sunny day out here in Southern California. To introduce this video, you saw the intro for it, for this home that I photographed in La Jolla, California. This is a three-part series for luxury real estate. Pro tips. The first one will be how to add a fake fire in a real fireplace. The second one will be a screen replacement for their theater room, so a very cinematic look for a very cinematic room. And the third one will be a sky replacement through the window view using a gradient tool. You'll want to check it out. So, without further ado, let's light it up.
Welcome back to Tech Tuesday, a place for quick photo tips, gear reviews, and photography-related content that will help you be more efficient out in the field, on location, and in post. Thank you for joining me today. My name is Darren Asay. If you're just tuning in for the first time, remember to subscribe and hit that little bell so that you can get future videos delivered to your front door. All right, let's jump right in. So this is a photo of the house that I photographed in La Jolla that you saw on the intro to this video. The arrows right now are pointing to the room that I'm going to be shooting the tutorial in. So actually, on a side note, if you're curious about drawing these arrows and it's kept you up at night, go ahead and click on the link in the description, or I'll try to put a call out above for a tutorial that I did on how to create these arrows in Photoshop. It's actually quite simple. So let's jump over to the room that we're going to be doing this tutorial in. This is the photo that is going to be delivered to the client. There's a few changes that need to be made first. One being we need to put a fire in the fireplace because the gas wasn't turned on, and so I was unable to have a natural fire, so we needed to create a fake one, which is fine. And two, if you look over to the right-hand side, you'll see through the window a blown-out sky. And so I'm going to fix that for the client as well. These, again, are very subtle changes, but it makes a difference between being good and being amazing. And that is what I'm helping you to be. So, without further ado, let's jump right into the fire tutorial. There are 5 simple steps to create fire for this fireplace. That's it, 5 steps. Step 1, add your photo into Photoshop. Step 2, we're going to create a new layer. Now over on the right-hand side, I've already created this photo, the deliverable photo, but I'm going to walk you through each step as I do it. So pretend I just drop this photo into Photoshop. Okay, there's step 1. Step 2, we're going to create a new layer. All right, so we go over here to Fireplace, we go down here, and we create a new layer. We're going to name it, let's name it Fire. I mean, why not? For step 3, go over and grab the pen tool on the left-hand side. And then also note that the path is selected up here at the top left corner. There's a couple of options, shape, path, pixels, but we want to choose path for this. All right, let's zoom into this fireplace and get it done. So there's 2 options here. You can just draw a straight line, 2 clicks, and you have it. I actually like to do a little zigzag here. You can do whatever works for you. Now, once you have that, we're going to go right into step 4, which is filter, render, and flame. Up at the top bar here, filter, render, and flame. Now you're going to get some preset flames that are built in through this Photoshop platform, and it'll give you a randomized length, width, angle, and interval, which you can completely customize to your liking. I just happened to create this one earlier, so I'm just going to leave it alone. You can change the length and you can change the width to these flames and have it be whatever works for you. And after you create your fire, go back and mess around with it and kind of get a feel for the flame. In this case, just click OK, and the flame will show up in your fireplace. All right, so there's the flame. But we have a couple things here too, because we have the selection tool here with all the different points that we selected. So just go ahead and click Enter or Return. And then while we still have this layer, fire layer selected, go over here again on the left-hand side to the Move tool. Bring it back over to the flame and put that exactly where it needs to be. There's always going to be a minor adjustment. You can use your arrow keys on your keyboard if your mouse isn't quite cutting it. All right, so that's where I want it. So you notice that there are some areas here where there's overlap, and that's fine too. So go over here again on the left-hand side, grab the eraser tool. Let's zoom in just a little bit more. We're just going to cut out a little bit of the flame that is overlapping in this particular area. Just so that it looks more authentic. Okay. So again, you want to fit the fire to the situation. This is super bright and it does not look like a flame in this fireplace to me. So again, while you have this selected over on the right hand side, you can make all these adjustments. Drop your fill down to, I don't know, 80%. Now you can start to see through the flame to the back side of this grate. Maybe drop the opacity level to just enough. Let's try 90%. So fill we went down to 80, opacity we were at 90. And to me that seems a little more realistic. Just like when we created a fire, we're going to go add a new layer. And we're going to call it reflection. I already have the pen tool selected, and so I'm going to choose an area roughly here that I'm going to be adding this flame. So just going through the steps to add the flame, go up to Filter, Render, Flame, and then click OK. And then click Enter or Return on your keyboard. Go back up here, grab the Move tool. I'm going to move it to about right here. Then I'm going to go up to Edit, Transform, Flip Vertical. I'm going to drop the fill and the opacity to about half. I'm going to go grab my eraser. Let's turn the opacity down to about 30%. And I'm just going to kind of wash away some of this area that's spilling where I don't want it to. And I'm just going to try to create the shadow and just play around with it until I get something that I feel works for this. And I'm fine with that. So when you're looking at the full picture, you see the reflection of the brick, you see the reflection of the flame. It looks a little more realistic, as if it were there. All right, we're in the home stretch, guys. So we have our flame, we have our reflection. Now let's go into some pro tips, including the window reveal. So with fireplace over here selected on the right-hand side, I just want to create a new layer. And I'm going to name this window, because that's going to be our first, not Window. Wow. Window. And we want to create, over here on this color palette, we want to find the color, the sky blue color that we're going to use. Actually just matched it off of the color over here in the water. So it came up with this, and I wanted it to be similar. So click OK, and then grab your pen tool, and we want to highlight, or we want to outline this area of the window. And again, just going quick and dirty here, but I think in the original photo I probably spent way too long. All right, now hit Command Return or Command Enter, and you'll get your selection or your marching ants. So at this point, what we want to do is create a new adjustment layer. So the adjustment layers are right down here. It's the circle that's half colored in. Click that and go up to gradient. And it automatically fills the area that we had selected. If you don't have the window selected, if the marching ants aren't going on, then hit Shift Command D and you'll reselect that area so that you don't gradient your whole photo. At this stage of it, I have everything all set up, 90-degree angle, linear, but I don't want the color to go from dark to light. I want it to be a natural progression. So just click reverse, and you'll have more of that that natural color coming down in that darker to lighter progression. Then click OK. Now it still looks a little unnatural to me. So at this point, what you want to do, Shift Command D to reselect that. And then I went up to fill and I dropped it down, I don't know, till you have a nice light blue. Maybe take the opacity down a little bit too, just for taste, right? And then hit Command D to remove that selection. And now we have that window pull. Now that we have our window pull, let's create a group, or down here on the bottom, these folders, and stay organized. So I'm going to create a new group, double click on it, name it window, and spell it right this time. I'm going to highlight everything that I used in this part of the window tutorial and just drop it right into that folder. Minimize it, and then that's out of the way. Okay, so the last part of this tutorial, and I really appreciate you guys hanging in there because the final outcome is fantastic, is just the cleanup. So these few items I would just call the cleanup before I deliver the photo to my client. Okay, let's go to the left-hand side of this photo, and you notice here on this door frame, here there's a blue cast. The inside of this door frame is kind of bright, and that comes from me flashing this interior of the bathroom. There's a white scuff mark here, or a white flash mark here, that I'm going to be darkening up. And this door handle also has a blue cast, so we're going to be getting rid of that. All right, so quickly going through here, all I did was I went in and I took a sample color of the wood from here. I went down here to this adjustment layer and clicked solid color, and that gave me the brown that I needed, which is here, which filled it and took away the blue. You see that? So there's the blue. Now there's the brown. Again, just taking a sample color from down here, or actually I believe it was from up here, and just filled in this entire section that I had selected. So I selected this outer layer and then click brown. The next thing I did, if you can see right here, I just took the white part out and filled it with brown. The next section here was the door handle. It still has that blue color cast on it. So I went in and took a selection of this door handle, changed the color, and again, just a subtle change. I'll change it back. You can see the blue, and now it's silver again. All right, now we're going to go to the interior of the door and try to get rid of that flash mark by selecting a color and just removing it. Take it back and just adding that color in. Now over on the very left hand side, there's still a little bit of that blue cast on this door frame. So I took a sample from up here. I made a selection. So just make a selection around the area that you want to change. Hit Command Return, and you'll have that selection, which I already did. Grab that color, and now I took away the blue cast. So there it is, and now it's gone. Now over on the right hand side, I wanted to brighten up the foreground area, So I just made a selection, brightened it up. Over here on the window, that weather stripping, I just darkened that up a little bit. I color filled this wood area above the window, and then the final step here was to just brighten the room. So that's it. The pro tips, the cleanup, the window, the fireplace. There's our final product for our client delivered. And by the way, they were stoked. Thank you so much for tuning in to part 1 of this series where I covered adding a fire to a fireplace and doing that window view or that window replacement with a view. The second tutorial will cover the screen replacement process in depth, so you'll want to check that out. All right, leaving you with a beautiful view.